Welcome to Spoken Reviews, home of the Spoken Review. Today, guys, we're going to talk about, is the 2015 Model S a good buy in 2023? So my brand new 2023 Model 3 is in the shop, and they were able to give me a 2015 Model S. So we've had it for the last couple of days. I'm definitely kind of formatting some thoughts about the vehicle, some of the pros and some of the cons. And I was just kind of curious for people that were out there shopping for used Model S's, is this a good buy? So got online on Tesla's website and I was able to do some research. And basically you can find a vehicle similar spec to this. This is a 70D Model S 2015, upwards of around the $40,000 mark. So given the price of $40,000 for this vehicle used, and then with limited warranty from Tesla, is this a good buy? Overall, I would give the interior a A- to a B+. Given the age and years, it's still holding up really good. There are a couple things that were kind of funny, like the door. It seems very funky, like when you close it. You've got to kind of tell it almost sounds a little lower quality than what it should. I think it's just over time Tesla's improved the build quality. But yeah, not the biggest fan of some of the stuff. But the actual pieces themselves and the designs, like the wood, the stitching here is definitely upscale. So, if you were trying to decide between a Model 3 new or a Model Y new, it gets kind of interesting, right? Because before the tax incentive, I would lean heavy towards the S. But now with the tax incentive, the government's basically helping to subsidize the price of a new electric vehicle. So you get a really good bang for your buck. So it's kind of pros and cons, right? So Model 3, Model Y, it's all about minimalism, clean, sleek. And similar with the S. It's still minimalistic, but there's definitely a lot more, glitz and glamour to go with it. So pros and cons, but overall I'd say the interior is pretty solid. Onto the back seat again, with this vehicle being 7 years old and over 70,000 miles, there's been a ton of people in and out of these vehicles. And since it's a loaner, people typically don't, treat them the best. So I'd say that this is held up pretty well. As far as the screen and the speed, I still think that it's pretty snappy, right? Like, it definitely doesn't feel like a 7-year-old vehicle. It's still pretty snappy. This vehicle, at this age, it's probably more snappy and quicker than a lot of the other manufacturers' brand new 2023 models. So that says a lot just about the Tesla technology and the quality of it. Again, less and fewer moving parts equals longer longevity, right? So you can't underestimate that, right? Like, if you're in to have a vehicle for the long run, this is Tesla's going to be an absolute great choice. I'm a huge fan, and the more I think about it, and the more I'm making this video, it's making me wonder, like, oh, is this better than a Model 3? Is it better to get a Model S? Because it is bigger, more storage, a little bit more premium feel, right? A little bit more, like mystique to it. So definitely a lot of pros and cons here. So overall, the 2015 Model S still rides pretty smooth, but you can definitely tell that it's going on 8 years old. The wind noise, it's pretty bad, but I'm pretty sure this can be fixed with some seals. I do remember there being like a fix for these older vehicles. Again, this is 2015, so this is years ago, but you guys can kind of hear it in the video. So unless you have music going, this can definitely be distracting, and I can definitely see this being difficult to, if you're on the phone, to have a phone call. As far as the fit, the wheel, there is a little bit of play, so definitely probably could use an alignment. But again, this is a rental vehicle from the Tesla dealership with 70,000 miles on it, and from 2015, it's 2023, so 8 years, or if you want to call it 7 years, however you want to call it. So definitely. It's definitely not as tight as like a newer vehicle, and honestly, like I definitely prefer the Model 3 and the Model Y over this. But if I was in a brand new Model S, I'd prefer that, right? Because it's just the fact that, like, over time things get a little looser. Suspension is not as nice as it was with brand new and things like that. But overall, everything works pretty great with the vehicle. This is a 70D. It's reading 200 miles range, which is pretty solid. It's kind of what to expect with a 70D. I would imagine that on a road trip that you're not going to get 200 miles. Probably get 150 miles, which is okay, but definitely would mean you have to stop more frequently. But definitely just, pros and cons with anything. Would I personally get a used Model S? Maybe, if the price is right. So, like, if this was like going for like 30 grand, I might think about getting it just because of the bigger size and the bigger space. And instead of getting a 2015, I'd probably go for like a 2016 because that's when the front end was refreshed. So this one still has like the original front end from 2012 to 2015, which kind of looks dated and old. But anything that's 2016 or newer, you do have the newer front end, and it looks fresh. So you really can't tell the difference between like a 2016 or 2020 because the front end looks the same. And interior is pretty much exactly the same too. But yeah, so far we are enjoying our time with this vehicle. And then we're on another drive, and again, the wind noise, once you get over like 70, it's loud. It's like, it's hard to describe. It's almost like blow dryer in the room next door loud, if that makes sense. Yeah. And one thing that I'm realizing is that the steering wheel on the older Model S's is like crazy big, and I think a lot of these parts came from like Mercedes vehicles, and maybe like luxury equals huge steering wheel, but it's actually almost uncomfortable. And I kind of prefer the smaller steering wheel of the V3 and the Y. And now the new S, right? Having a smaller steering wheel, it's a little bit more sporty. It's a little easier to handle. With the big steering wheel, it's almost like you're driving a boat, if that makes sense. Like, no pun intended, right? That's kind of what it feels like you're just driving a big boat. But I mean, overall ride, to be a 7-year-old going on 8-year-old car, it's decent, but definitely not what it used to be when this was brand new. Looking onto the exterior, there are a couple things, like the seals are definitely off. This is the time when Tesla was actually doing the sunroof, so you can definitely see it being a little bit harder to get it right, but definitely some seal issues here and here. But again, I'll keep saying this over and over in this video, 7-year-old vehicle. So for the most part, if the biggest issues that are happening are the rubber seals, these can definitely be replaced. And if I was shopping around for a used Model S, I would definitely be something I would pay attention to, and definitely have them replace these seals just to make sure you don't have any leaking, right? Because water can sit in here, they can leak and get into the roof, and then it can actually cause a lot of problems. So you want to make sure that you get ahead of that before those issues happen. But yeah, overall, I mean, in my opinion, the look, it's still solid. This is an iconic design, very iconic. The fact that Tesla was able to design the Model S in 2012, and for the most part there's been some light refreshes, but there hasn't been like a heavy refresh, and the design still looks amazing. When you see it on the street, it still turns heads to this day. So yeah, I'm still a huge fan of the design. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching this quick video on is it worth getting a 2015 Model S in 2023, right? It's to be determined, right? It's all about what's best for you. But I think it's definitely something that me and my wife are going to have to talk about, because I'm really enjoying this, and I'm enjoying it more than I'm enjoying the 3. I really love the 3. I think the 3 is, it's newer, it's under warranty, so there's a lot of pros there. But the bigger size, it's a very compelling decision. So I'm curious about other people that are thinking about the vehicle. What are your thoughts? What are some of the pros and cons that are weighing on you? And what direction are you going with? And if you did decide to get a used Model S, how's it going, right? Please leave the feedback below so we can have that interactive conversation with the community. Thanks a lot, everyone, and hope you have a great day.